advantage
Yeah.
doing that versus changing the past, just one for
Yeah.
whatever happened.
Yes.
Okay. So now for some of the questions, if you could just like introduce yourself like in, a minute or two, just your elevator pitch.
Yes, got you. Right, so I am Aaliyah Dua. I'm 20 years old. I'm a recent graduate of Virginia State University. I have a degree in business management, and I'm also the founder of Financial Revolution, which is a business that teaches financial literacy and entrepreneurship to ages 8 to 25. I'm a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Change leader. So that's basically McDonald's running a national campaign on the work that I do in my community and things like that. So yes, that's a little bit about me and what I do.
Let's not downplay that because, for being 20 years old, you're just so focused and doing such great things and gaining recognition. So kudos to you and
Appreciate
keep
that.
doing it. I know I'm inspired.
Thank you.
So talking about, having your business from 8 to 25, that's a spread, that's a wide spread, but like, what is your first experience with money or your first experience related to using money since, it's all about finances?
I mean, you mean in terms of investing or,
Just
you
like
know,
a life experience, right? Because I feel like these type of businesses, something has to be sparked. So where did it start?
I mean, I would say growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I went to a lot of public schools, and in those schools, like, I never had to wear like uniform, or I never had to, do anything like that. So I was always inspired by like, what was around me. So I would often spend my money on things that really didn't matter, right? And the things that I valued when I was like younger and I thought was so important, I started to realize like none of that stuff really matters, especially during the pandemic, right? Because it's like, all right, clothes that you have, shoes that you have, right? It's not worth anything. You know what I'm saying? You can't wear it. You can't, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like what really mattered is what assets you had, right? What things that you own, what things that you have to your name, what things can you pass down if something was to happen to like your kids or something like that, right? And I noticed that like a lot of times, we don't learn that information. So it's just like, wow, once I started first learning about financial literacy, I'm like, wow, I never knew about this. I never learned about stocks in school. I never learned about real estate in school, right? But then when we look at our counterparts, that's the information that they're getting at young ages. So they're already ahead of the game. They're already knowing what to do with their money when they get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what kind of sparked my interest into financial literacy. And then that's when I was like, if I don't know it, of course my friends and my peers don't know it, and of course a lot of people in the world don't know it. So I was like, I can be a youth advocate. I could be somebody who's relatable, somebody who is able to deliver the message in a way where people are going to want to listen to it because it's coming from somebody who looks like them. You get what I'm saying? So that's really what started the financial revolution.
Yeah, no, that's a great start, and I identify so much with others not knowing, and then something just sparks in you, and you're like, wait, we all should know this. Like we are somewhat behind, so teaching others, I definitely commend that. So you mentioned earlier that you have this booming business, you have all of that going on, but you're also a student, right? You're 20, you go to college, so how do you balance this? Because having a business is a lot of work. Being an entrepreneur is a lot of work, and college is, is equally as much. So how are you balancing this?
So I actually just graduated from college this past May.
Ooh.
And to speak on how I did balance it, I think I just took it one day at a time. I knew that I had, goals in both aspects. I knew that I wanted to graduate college, and I knew that I wanted to become a full-time entrepreneur after I did graduate college. So it was really, letting both things become who I was. So it was just like, all right, there's no Aaliyah without financial revolution. There's also no Aaliyah without me being a college student as well. Right. So when you adopt that mindset of like, this is who I am, these are my goals, this is what I want for myself, everything you do is kind of to make sure that you're excelling in those different areas. You get what I'm saying? So it wasn't easy. I wouldn't say like it's like a easy thing, but it's also just something you got to do one day at a time, right? So making sure you're prioritizing your time, making sure that you meeting certain deadlines, and I also set realistic goals for myself within my business. So like even while I was in college, every Wednesday, right? So I went to college in Virginia. Every Wednesday, I would travel back to New York to go teach a class. So I would spend my days in New York every Wednesday, and that right there was like my dedication to making sure that I'm keeping financial revolution alive. I'm making the networks that I'm creating the networks that I need to make. I'm doing everything I need, you know, for my business. When I'm on a plane or in a car doing something, on my way back to school, I'm editing videos, right? I'm making videos in my dorm room. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like getting it where I can fit it in, you know what I'm saying, and making it happen. Like I just really make no excuses for myself, you know, and when I slack off and I'm not doing something, I just have to hold myself accountable. So I think that's the key. You know, a lot of people, if you want something, you just got to do it. You got to do the work that comes with it, you know?
Yeah, no, so I heard you said like time management, being goal oriented, and sacrificing, right? Because to take that drive every week, you're sacrificing time to drive, money for tolls. We know it's not cheap, and then no excuses, right? Like it has to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. That's some goals that people can live by to just balance whatever they have going on in life. All right. So when I met you, you had your booth and you had this book,
I got the book. I
the blueprint for investing. Of course I had to support, and
appreciate that.
I read it because I wanted to know like what is this book all about, and you really go into just putting it out there. No one can have an excuse on like how do I get started, like get this book to get started,
I
right?
appreciate that.
So like why did you write your book, and where can people buy it if they don't know?
One, I wrote the book to show people that you can do anything in life. Growing up, I would never think I would be an author. You know what I'm saying? That's one aspect of it, right? Two, I wrote it because I think that I know 9 times out of 10 when we read, we're reading 300 pages just to get 2 to 5 pages worth of information, right? So I wanted to create something that was very short, concise, and straight to the point, where you're getting the knowledge that you need to start,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no excuses after that. Like literally, as you're reading the book, you can go on your phone, download the apps that I'm telling you to get, and do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you make things that simple for people, there's no excuse. There's no, oh, it's too long. There's no, I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? Because all the information is there, and I made it so simple for just even a third grader can understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are literate and know how to read, you can understand a book. So that was really my main focus. Like I wanted to create information
Mm-hmm.
that was so easy for people to understand that there's no excuse of why you're not investing, no excuse of why you don't know why it's important to invest. You know what I'm saying? So in
Mm-hmm.
that book, you're learning, you're actually, it's a workbook as well. Like you're writing why you want to invest, right? You're writing, holding yourself accountable, right? You're learning the steps that it takes. You're learning the different types of investing there is, right? So it's just like that was my whole thing. I wanted to package something where people can get access to the information that they need when it comes to investing into the stock market.
Yeah, and definitely was easy and actionable. You were like, this is what you have to do. And I feel like you were holding my hand. You're like, okay, sign up, click this. I'm like, okay, this is easy. Like anyone can do this. All right. So for those who are, I know you said, okay, get started, but some people are scared, right? They're like investing. I don't know if I could do this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So for those who are just afraid to get started, to get started in investing in the stock market, what would you tell them?
That's a good question. I would say first, figure out where you develop that fear first, fear from. I think that's what's gonna help people, right? Because you can be scared of something. You can get the information that's telling you all the reasons why you shouldn't be scared, but you're still gonna be scared because you never understood where that fear came from, right? So a lot of us have financial trauma. So we have to understand, why am I scared to invest my money, but I'm not scared when it comes to going to a restaurant and you don't know if that restaurant is going to be good. You know what I'm saying? You can go on Yelp and look at the reviews, but you're basing it off of everybody else's thoughts and opinions. It's the same thing with investing. You can look online and see that people make money from investing, right? But why do you feel like, are you going to trust Yelp, but you can't trust, the stock market and things like that? Understand where did you get that mindset from?
Mhm.
And once you understand that, then it's like, okay, now I know where I developed that financial trauma, because that's what it is. Next, get the right information. Get a mentor, get somebody who can help you, somebody who can guide you, somebody that you can trust, that can actually give you the tools and resources that you need in order to be successful in that field. It's with anything. Like if I'm going to school to learn certain information, and I'm learning from somebody who's supposed to be an expert in that field,
Mhm.
or you know what I'm saying, or in that industry. Next after that, right? Hold yourself accountable. Be consistent. Start. Like, that's like the number one thing. A lot of people get information, they do what they have all these books, they have all these courses, they invest in themselves, but it's just like now you do nothing with all the information. So you have to
Mhm.
start. Make yourself an investment account. That's free. It takes 2 seconds and it's free to do it. You know what I'm saying? So at least now you got the investment account. Every time you're on your phone, you see the app, right? Then after that, put money into the investment account. Don't be afraid to start small, right? Starting small is better than starting having zero. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's, $30 a month or $50 a month, whatever you can do, $20 a week, right? Think about it. I literally spent $20 on pasta today, like on food. That's one meal. That's money that could be in an investment account. You know what I'm saying? So when we start understanding our values and understanding, like, okay, I value my future. I value my future life, and I want to, make sure that I set my future up so that I have, enough money. I'm building wealth. I have assets. I have tangible assets. I have money that's growing, right? That I don't have to do physical labor for. Then your whole mindset is going to change. Like, now when I get money, my first thought isn't to go buy something. My first thought is like, all right, how can I use this to make more money? Then I could buy something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we have to shift our mindset. So I hope I answered your question. I know I kind of went on a tangent.
No, I felt like everything you were saying was relevant. I felt like I was first in therapy for a minute. Well, like, where is this fear coming from? And then, having like you speaking words into that person saying, okay, like, just do it, be accountable. You're spending money on frivolous things. You can invest in yourself. And that was one thing I liked about your book too, where you gave increments of, okay, 0 to, I think it was like 100, and then 100 and onward, where people can still, there's no excuse. Like, you don't have an excuse but to get started and to go. So your answer was definitely perfect, I think. All right, so then my last question is, this September 1st, less than 4 months in the year, what is one big goal that you wanted to accomplish, or that you want to accomplish before the year is ended, or what is one big goal you just accomplished?
That's a good question. I would say one big goal I just accomplished. It was not necessarily that it wasn't even a goal, but it's just being a speaker at an InvestFest. I feel like that was something that was very, like, monumental
Mhm.
for me, being in the financial literacy space, being so young, and also, my business still being relatively new. I think that was, like, a great thing that happened. So, and then moving forward, one goal that I do have is that I want to be in at least 3 schools that aren't just in New York, right? So I have a lot of schools that I'm working with in New York, but I want to be, like, by the end of this year, at least 3 schools that I went to that or spoke at or did something virtual that's not in New York. So anybody watching this and y'all know a teacher, know a principal, whatever, even if it's in New York, right? Tell them they need me in their school.
Are you looking to speak about like investing in the stock market? Uh,
Yeah, so